How's it everybody? Wix here again. Welcome back to the channel. Episode 5, basic layout of my engine bay. Let's go check it out. Alright, so here we have it, all the main gear in the engine bay only. After this it'll go to my mate Sticks, who's going to do all the fab work for the turbo and extractors and stuff. But this episode I just wanted to talk to you about my basic layout of where I'm going to put stuff in the engine bay. And what you see is hopefully pretty much not too much more than that. Yep, I'm probably dreaming, but this is how I want it anyway. So, what's the first thing? Process West intake manifold, Process West TGV deletes. Never ran those before. First time owning the Process West intake, and man, it's just beautiful. I just want to lick it all the time. I'm deciding I went with the Radium fuel rails as well. It's just a awesome unit. So anyway, gonna run that. I haven't decided what throttle body I'm going to use yet. So if anyone out there who has a Process West intake, I really want to switch to drive-by-wire. So if you can message in the comments what drive-by-wire throttle body have you used, that'll be cool, and maybe a link to where you got it from as well. That'll be awesome. So still yet to sort out how I'm going to set up a bracket, or to get the belt for the alternator. That could change, but this is my old bracket that I use, so it's just sitting in there for now because that's what I've got. Attached to that bracket is where I sit my, let's see if you can see it, so that's my coil pack, wasted spark setup. I'm gonna run with it at this stage, and I'll wait till the tuner says I need to upgrade my spark before I change that. I was going to run some GDR plugs like a lot of other guys do, but I think I'll just stay with that for now. And just see what happens come tune time. I like how it's on this bracket. It's hidden, it's out the way, and still pretty accessible as well. So as mentioned in earlier videos, I'm going to be running the water to air setup. So this is a product from PWR Performance in Australia. I'm pretty sure these aren't made for street cars. They're only made for proper drag cars who want to go 9 seconds or under. But I managed to pick this up off a good mate of mine, Aiden, who had it in his car, and it was pretty cheap off him, so I grabbed it. And a lot of people had said that I'll never fit a cooler that size in a Subaru engine bay, and most people who know me, when they tell me I can't do something, it's just a challenge. So as you can see, I got it in. I was running this on the old setup, and I'm going to continue to run it on this setup as well. So that'll hook up to some water lines that will run down here, and I'm just going to figure out a bit later on when I get the car back from doing all the fab stuff how I'm going to run the lines just a little bit neater than they were last time. That hooks up to a water pump that will be underneath this panel I need to weld back in, and then that will be connected to my heat exchange on the car, which is my old Trust air-to-air intercooler that I've just converted to hold water instead. So that's that part. What else? I'll need to refab a pipe to go from the intercooler, come around into the throttle body. Let's talk about the turbo. So this is the Precision PT6266, and I decided to go with the twin scroll option, and roughly, without dropping it, roughly that's where I want it to sit in my engine bay. So hence why I did the power steering lines first. That'll give my mate Sticks a pretty good idea on how much room we've got to meet up to my current exhaust, which is down the bottom there. So he's already got my flange that we got made up to suit this turbo. That'll go through that plate down there and hook up to the extractors, which have been cut off around this area. So he just needs to build from here up to the turbo, dump pipe down to the exhaust, and then because I've got a twin scroll turbo, I've decided to run twin wastegates. So I did a little bit of research on whether because I've got twin, do you have to run twin or single fine? I think single's fine. I've decided to stick with a twin wastegate setup, just because when you open the bonnet in this engine bay, I just want some pretty gangster stuff staring at you in the face. So roughly these will sit up here on an angle. Haven't really figured that out. So when you open up the engine bay, I mean, yeah, some stuff's going to slap you in the face. So part of my look for that was two 40mm wastegates. So these are the 40mm comp gates, Gen V I think they call it, or Gen 5. So two of those puppies. So that's what Six is going to fab up as well. Weld in those. Here in New Zealand, to be road legal, to have a road legal street car, when you've got external wastegates, they need to be plumbed in back into the exhaust for noise purposes. So I'll get him to do that setup, and then at some stage I'll get him to do another setup which will have a vented to atmosphere along with the exhaust pointing up out of the bonnet or something like that. I haven't figured it out. Maybe out the guard like other guys do. Not worried about that part yet. I just want it legal, so I can get the car back on the street. What else have I added in? A new Fenix radiator. So I did have a older Fenix radiator, but I needed to run another header tank which sat here in the corner. But now I've found this one. This one came off a Subaru Legacy. I'm not too sure what version or year, but it had a small header tank on top. So the guy bought it and didn't use it, so I thought I'd grab it, because now at least I don't need to run a header tank because it's already on here. So on my old radiator I had two fans with a shroud, so I need to modify it a little bit to chuck on this radiator as well. So obviously I've got a bit of work to do. I've got to run my fuel lines, which I haven't sorted out yet. I haven't sorted anything to do with my fuel. My wiring loom. So usually on the Subaru there's a little fuse box that comes here, and you've got your main engine harnesses that come here, and then little looms that poke in all over the place. So I've rewired this thing to, let's see if I can show you. So that oval hole straight down there, that's where all my loom is for the engine. So it pretty much feeds the whole engine and everything that I need. So it's hidden, especially with this cooler sitting here. All the plugs are hidden, you won't really see it. And my fuse box, I'm still running my fuse box, and that is currently about here inside the guard. Yep, it's annoying. If I blow a fuse, I need to take my guard off, but I mean, it's 2 or 3 minutes to take a guard off, so I'm not worried about that at all. What else is there? I think that's about it. So the parts that are annoying me at the moment are the brake master cylinder and all that setup, and also the clutch, where you put the clutch fluid in as well. It's just when you look at everything else, it's all beautiful, and then you look at those, it's a bit old and worn out. So haven't decided really what I'm going to do with them. I'll probably keep them, but I'll probably just give them a big freshen up, see if I can find some brand new containers, so at least everything looks reasonably new and nice and fresh as well. Really big mission is to try and keep the wiring hidden as much as I can. I think I should be okay with that. This model doesn't come with I've got the version 7 STI WRX heads that's running VVT. My last engine didn't come with that, so I do need to do some extra wiring, solenoids for the VVT, and I'm pretty sure, yep, there's a sensor on the back, and same with the other side. Yes, a solenoid there and another sensor. So I've got to do some wiring, extra wiring, but same as it'll still run underneath the back. At the moment, my cable to the alternator, the power and the plug, it's all one cable at the moment, but I'm going to try and separate that and put a plug on it. So basically, if I ever need to pull this engine out, I can just disconnect the plugs on the back wall and I can just lift the whole thing out. The other thing is with the intercooler piping, still yet to decide, but it'll probably come from the turbo, and because nothing sits here, this is where the factory power steering pump sits, because there's nothing sitting there, I'm going to run the pipe underneath here. The other cool thing about this intake, it actually sits quite high. I was a little bit worried that it might hit my bonnet, but there's still heaps of room between the top of that and my bonnet, so I'm really stoked about that. So I'm going to sneak the intercooler pipe from the turbo underneath those legs and then up the back here, and I'll somehow modify that part so it just all connects. Yeah, but pretty much what you're looking at. I'm really hoping that I can keep this engine bay pretty much how you see it right now, just with a little bit of extras, obviously the fuel lines, a little bit of wiring, and some pipes, but I'm trying to keep it as empty as I can. That's my mission with this engine bay. I wanted it different. I wanted it to catch your eye when you open up the bonnet. I want things to slap you in the face. I wanted it as empty as I could get it. I wanted it, if I needed to take something off, I can just access it straight away for maintenance, or if I need to change something, or with a Subaru, if it breaks, which something will break, they always break. Okay guys, that's pretty much it for this episode. I just wanted to talk to you about the basic layout of how I wanted my engine bay, of course with my own flavour in it as well. Remember, those of you who have already got a Process West intake, if you are running a drive-by-wire throttle, just message in the comments, let me know what throttle body you're running. Like and subscribe to the channel, that'll keep you updated with more episodes to come. Obviously you can see I've still got a lot of work to do, so I've got plenty more videos coming your way. Next episode, probably when I get the car back from my mate Sticks, after he's done all the fab work, I'll do another video then just to show you what all the fab stuff looks like. Turbo in, headers in, the 2 wastegates as well. Don't really know what else for now, but that sounds good. So until then, we'll see you in the next vid. Ciao.